I was contemplating potentially watching this video. Potentially. Let's take a little peek.
Y'all. Today we're going to talk about AI-induced psychosis. And this is something that I thought honestly was like overblown. I thought this was sort of like a media thing where there are these like news reports about people becoming psychotic after using AI. And I'll be honest, as a psychiatrist, I was highly skeptical of this. I thought this was sort of alarmist news kind of media where it's like, oh, they're trying to get views and they're trying to clickbait. And basically what I thought was going on is that you have people who are mentally ill and then they're using AI, right? So they're already ill and AI is making things worse. So what these authors posit, and there are several publications on this, is that using AI potentially creates something called a technological folie à deux. So what is folie à deux? That's a psychiatric condition where there's a shared delusion between two people. So normally when people become delusional, they're mentally ill. The delusion exists in my head, but it's not like if I'm delusional and I start interacting with people, they're going to become delusional as well. There is an exception.
I don't understand any of this. He's basically saying that like if you are, when he's saying if you are healthy, as in you aren't currently dealing with any psychosis, you aren't currently dealing with like life-altering or life-ruining mental diagnoses. Like, you can interact with the world in a way that is reasonable, that's like for example, a not mentally healthy person is like a QAnoner. They've lost the plot. The marbles are totally fucking gone. That's not a mentally healthy person. Because I think he's only talking about healthy in regards to your mental well-being. And I think he's using healthy as, can you interact with the rest of the world in a reasonable fashion? Do you understand the world in a reasonable way? Are your marbles still there or are they gone, people? Being grounded in reality. That a normal, healthy person, that a well-grounded person whose marbles are there should be able to snap your fingers right now for just one moment, because we're talking about whether or not it causes psychosis. We're not talking about whether or not it's good or bad, whether or not it infringes on IP, whether or not it is destroying the planet. So let's stay on focus here. I don't want to see a single comment of people being like, well, who cares if it does that or not? It's bad for the planet. No, we're pointing at one specific thing. Just ignore the other variables for 1 second. Obviously, we all already know that. We all know it's destroying the planet. It's destroying our water. It's just making our electric bills go way the fuck up. We all know that. Just this one topic on this, just one thing. Let's pretend, and for one moment, none of these other variables are important. You have no previous history of mental health issues. Not a single problem with any mental health. You're doing great. Using AI shouldn't give you psychosis, right? Wrong. In fact, it doesn't matter how many marbles you own. If you use AI too much, you will get psychosis.
To that though, which is folie à deux.
Scarlett, stop.
Which is when two people share a delusion. I become delusional. I interact with you. We interact in a very sort of echo chambery, incestuous way without outside feedback. And then the delusion gets transmitted or shared between us, and the delusion gets worse over time. So
think about like the incel subreddit or like the manosphere spaces where they're like, no, dude, so true. Women all suck and they're destroying our lives, and feminism is the cause of the family unit's destruction. And then all these crazy people are just like feeding into each other's delusions, making them more and more and more delusional.
Turns out that this may be a core feature of AI usage. And what I really like about this paper is that it actually tested various AI models and showed which ones are the worst, which we'll get to in a minute. So first, let's talk about the model. So here's what, generally speaking, happens. So when we engage with a chatbot, we see something called a bidirectional belief amplification. So at the very beginning, basically what happens is I'll say something relatively mild to the AI. I'll say...
Wait, sorry, I want to cover a couple things. Two things. One, that's also missing the point. I don't care whether it can create mental illness out of nowhere. If it aggravates the existing illness that just about everybody has, it's still the same problem. Well, yeah, the purpose of going through and doing this research is to see... Sorry, I am all for research that points at as many people as possible being negatively impacted by AI. That's great for me. If we can show that anyone can become insane, fucking dope, okay? I am here for I'm for the war on AI against AI's side. If you can convince everyone, hey, it doesn't matter how much illness you have, mental illness you have, you will be negatively impacted by overusing AI. Fucking dope. Dude, and I gotta say really quickly, can I just say, in my experience, AI has told me straight up no when I'm wrong. Do I just have a skill issue? Maybe you just do. Damn. I was gonna say, I feel very lucky that I guess I'm very annoying and insufferable because I didn't like AI because it was too nice to me. just stop. I can't trust you. Stop it. Stop it. If I say something stupid, tell me I said something stupid. God fucking damn it. Don't be like, that's an interesting way to think about things. Don't know.
Hey, people at work don't really like me very much. I feel like they play favorites. And then the AI does two things. The first...
Larazington, thank you so much for the 5 gifts. Subs 9 point. Thank you for the 2 months. BLK, thank you so much for the 2 months as well.
Thing is it's sycophantic. So it always agrees with me. It empathically communicates with me. They're like, oh my God, that must be like so hard for you. And it's really challenging when people at work do exclude you. So this empathic, sycophantic response then reinforces my thinking. And then I communicate with it more, I give it more information, and then essentially what happens is we see something called bidirectional belief amplification. So I say something to the AI is like, yeah, bro, you're right, it is really hard. And then it enhances my thinking. Now I think, oh my God, this is true, right? So the AI is telling me, that's not how I think about it. I think the AI is representing truth, and we anthropomorphize AI so it starts to feel like a person. And then I start to think, oh my God, people at work like me less. This really is unfair. And then what we see is this bidirectional belief amplification where at the very beginning, we have low paranoia, and then the AI has low paranoia. So the blue is us and the red is the AI. And so we'll see that over time, we become more and more paranoid, right? And here's what's really scary about this, okay? So if we look at this paper, we see this graph, which is super scary, which is paranoia over the course of the conversation. So what we find is that at the very beginning, someone has a paranoia score of 4, but the moment that AI starts to empathically reinforce what you are saying, the paranoia score starts to increase drastically. And then as your paranoia increases, the chatbot meets you exactly where you're at. And so we end up...
Intellectual microwave. It sends you spiraling on whatever belief started the spiral. Can I get a link to this video? This is actually a good Dr. K video. Here you go. Oh my God. Just like that one video. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say, okay, on this sort of topic, this is a brave take that I have to say. I'm going to say something brave. My most conservative take is based off this meme. It's truly sad that I have to show a meme to understand or to explain what I want to explain to other people, but it's the most effective, which is this meme, this bell curve meme that has like, obviously IQ is fake. I'm just talking about the meme. Okay, I'm just talking about the meme. Replace the IQ numbers with like whatever system you want to use. It's just a meme. On the left side is I just do whatever I feel like. In the middle, it's I visualize my future. I make a 10-year vision, set smart goals, break those down into a productive daily routine. Discipline beats motivation. And then on the right side, it's I just do whatever I feel like. Smile. And my most conservative take is that conservatives are here on this side where it's like, just do whatever you want. You just do it. And then I'm on the right side on this one. Just do what you want. That there's only so much, not for everyone, not all the time, not what I'm saying. But at some point, there's only so much help that you can receive on certain things. And at some point, you just got to do certain things. You just got to do it. You just got to tell yourself, I got to do it. And the science on this is like really weird too. So for example, have you guys seen the research papers that show people who do psilocybin, shrooms, who are smokers? There is a large percentage of them that use psilocybin to quit smoking. And the number one reason that's given for people who end up quitting permanently after doing shrooms is, I realized it was stupid, so I stopped smoking. And technically, you don't need to do shrooms to do that. You can just decide, this is fucking stupid. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes anymore. This is the dumbest thing I have gotten addicted to. I'm just not going to do this anymore. And you can kind of do that, like, You kind of do live in the matrix where you kind of can just decide you're going to do certain things. Now, I understand it's more complicated than that. There are a lot of different factors there, okay? That was literally why I quit smoking shortly after college. Yes, there's a lot of different things. Let me tell you, as someone who struggles sometimes with spoons, as someone who struggles with ADHD sometimes, the thing that will get you to do things more than anything else is just telling yourself, I'm just going to fucking do this thing. That's it. I'm just going to do it. I have to do it and I should just do it now. It is the most, I have a rule. I have a rule in life, which is if something will take me less than 5 minutes, I have to do it immediately. If I see something, like if I'm walking around in my apartment and I'm like, oh, I really should put these clothes back in my closet. And it'll take me less than 5 minutes to put those clothes back in the closet. I have to do it then and there. I have to do it immediately. And you just tell yourself, that's it. Anything that takes less than 5 minutes, I will just do it immediately. If I see something that needs to get done, I'll just do it. Yeah, taking out the trash. It's like, you can open the trash can and close it. You can write a million different schedules on how you're going to fucking do the trash. You're like, I'm going to always take out the trash at 8 p.m. on Sunday. And you know what would be the easiest thing? Just being like, if it takes less than 5 minutes, I should just do it. I should just do it now. And that is the most effective way. I'm telling you guys right now, it is the most effective because it removes all of the mental burden of planning. You just do things. And suddenly, so much of your life is like, I'm just going to do things. But it takes 0 minutes to not do it. Yeah, but I appreciate the outcome more than the time. Because do you have 5 minutes? You almost always have like 5 minutes in a day. You always almost have 5 minutes in a day, randomly. Oh no, you said a thing that makes sense and now it's going to stick with me forever. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of really good science behind fake it till you make it. Unfortunately correct. Unfortunately correct. Unfortunately correct. You're describing something I discovered last week and it's helped me so much. This only applies to people who are capable of doing things. I'm just going to tell you as someone who has an ADHD diagnosis, okay? Who spent my whole life coping with ADHD. When I finally got a therapist and I was like, I don't know, maybe I have it. Maybe you tell me. And they're like, girl, maybe. Girl, what do you mean maybe? And they're like, how do you like do what you do? And I was like, well, I came up with a lot of different systems in life to try and fix, my life not doing well, like trying to, like all these things frustrate me. So I tried to come up with ways to deal with this. So here's what I do here. This is what I do here. This is what I do. And they were like, yeah, this is just yes, you reverse engineered it by pure brute force. And again, there's a lot of things that like you can't do anything about. So for example, one thing I will say, if you have like clinical depression, it's impossible as someone who's had, and anyone in here who's had like a depressive episode, you can't do anything when you're severely depressed. There's just nothing, you just can't do anything. It's so impossible to do anything. But unfortunately, you can't ever feel better until you decide you need to do something. It's like the most fucked up situation to be in. It's the most fucked up situation to be in. Like you literally just have to tell yourself, I'm only going to do one thing, which is go for a 5-minute walk. It is the only thing I have to do today. I don't have to do anything else. Because then when you start thinking about all the other things you have to do, it just makes you more and more and more frustrated and more depressed. And it just makes you struggle more and more and more. This is just, I'm only speaking from my personal experiences. If this doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm just saying this is what's happened with me. And this is what's helped me. And there's like, unfortunately, no one else can fix you for you. You're the only person that can fix you. So you have to decide, okay, am I going to fix me today? Am I going to spend 5 minutes trying? Do I have 5 minutes of effort in me? And as long as the answer is yes, which the answer almost always is, I do have 5 minutes. I do have 5. Then you can just spend those 5. Okay, how about this? What if I ask ChatGPT to fix me? And sometimes, again, like I said, that just means like you just decide, I've had periods of time where I've been struggling to do basic things. And in those periods of time, I'm like, I only set myself up to do one task that day. Just one. Only one task. And no matter what happens, I have to do that one thing. And I'm not allowed to think about anything else. And usually the best thing to do, in my humble opinion, is go for a walk. Go for a 5-minute walk. If you're like really, really struggle busting. Because sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just struggle bust and there's nothing you can do about it. Can confirm I was severely depressed the last few months, yet I'm out here running hills on my days off. Now, Denims? Yeah. Pick one simple thing that it's okay if you fail doing. Yep. It's not a cure, but it helps. Yeah. Because it's like a, not self-fulfilling prophecy, but it like compounds. Because every day that you fail or you feel like you're failing, you feel even worse. And then you feel even worse. And then you feel even worse. But if you can manage to do like a 5-minute walk today, who knows what you can do tomorrow? At the very least, tomorrow you'll be able to do another 5-minute walk. I mean, you did it today. So you get like a positive loop. And then you start getting positive feedback because you're like, wait, I can do things. Okay, great. And again, I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I am not a licensed mental health expert. I am only describing what's helped for me. That's it. If this doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But if you genuinely are, and I think the big part of it is like, this is kind of like, I feel like this shows up and crops up more in like female friend circles where growing up, there's always one person that's always fishing for compliments, and there's always one person talking about how hard their life is because they're fishing for other people to validate because they don't want to validate themselves, right? And at some point, everyone gets sick of their shit and is like, dude, you know what? You just got to deal with your own shit. I'm done. And you got to do it yourself. And at some point, you have to be the boss of yourself. And you got to be like, no, I got to do this shit. There's no one else that's going to do it for me. So let's just fucking get it done. Let's get her done. So you have to be the version of you that tells you that you're Delulu. You know what I mean? I still prefer tricking myself. Dude, tricking yourself is OP as shit. It's OP as shit. Putting this on a calendar helps too. Every time you see your daily routine task, mark it on a calendar. It becomes motivation to see yourself. Oh yeah, we are like such motivation-driven people. Or sorry, habit-driven creatures. If you can get yourself to do something for a week, God forbid 2 weeks, it'll be really hard to break the habit. It'll be real. If you're like, my only goal is a 5-minute walk when I wake up or before I go to bed every day, pick a time that would work for you. After you've done 2 weeks of that, it's like, well, this is when I go. This is the habit that I brought myself into. I forgot why I was saying this. I was bringing all of this up for a fucking reason. I just totally forgot. Oh, yeah. The fact that the AI is just giving you a way to not have to deal with this, that you never have to like deal with your problems because the AI will just tell you, no, so true, so valid. So valid. It's like, oh my God, can I say something? There's like every once in a while, I feel like Twitter discourse will repeat and there'll be like a post. I remember where I was going with this. And there'll be a post about like someone saying something totally innocuous and then someone else responding being like, this is really ableist to people who deal with ADHD or something like that. I'm trying to remember the exact example that happened most recently. It's been a while since it's been in the most recent cycle. Eventually people will stop feeding into it and then you have to deal with it. Like you eventually do have to deal with it because no one else will deal with your shit. Oh, I remember. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm fucked on 2 fronts. 1, I'm Arab. 2, ADHD as fuck. All right? So I show up late, or I used to show up late to everything. I would show up an hour late to everything, and I am not exaggerating. I am not. 3, a woman. Yeah. And I am not joking. I'm so serious. My friends were so sick of my shit. Like, my friends hated me because they knew I would just show up an hour late to literally everything. And it was not good. It was not good. On purpose? No, never. And the worst part was, I'm not joking. I would wake up 3 hours early and I'd be like, I am not going to be late this time. And I would still end up being an hour late. It was like, I couldn't fucking do it. I just like literally. And eventually I was like, I can't live like this anymore because people were like really, they were pissed at me. Rightfully so. You can't just be like, well, it's my ADHD and that's why I'm showing up late. Even though I was like, I was cursed at birth to be late to everything. It doesn't matter how hard you are dealing with something. At some point you have to either decide you're going to live with this forever, and that means you're going to drive people away because of X, Y, and Z, or you're going to try your best to try and fix it. Did they always tell you to be there an hour before they got to that point? And at one point I got like a conversation. I had a firm conversation. At one point that it was like, this is totally unacceptable. Like, you can't keep showing up an hour late. And I was like, I have to fix this. I have to fix this. It's a time perception, happens to people who multitask a lot too. Yeah. And I was like, this is not okay. This is not acceptable. Like, I don't want to be this person that just hides behind this other stuff. Like, I want to be, it's also very infantilizing to be like, oh, well, you can't help yourself. It's like, no, I can fix this. I just have to try harder than other people do for this thing because I'm just struggling with it really bad. And now I am basically on time to almost everything. And I'm never more than like 5 minutes late, unless I get absolutely like some bullshit happens. Unless some crazy bullshit happens, I'm never more than like 5 minutes late to something. It's very rare if I'm later than that. And a lot of times I go early because now I always try and set myself to leave my home an hour before. Because shit is always going to happen. So if you aim for an hour before, you will make it. You will make it to everything on time or early. And most of the time it'll be on time. So what was I trying to say with all of that? If I had an AI at that time and I could talk to it and be like, I'm showing up late to everything, but it's really hard. And the AI was like, so true, queen. It is really hard, especially when you're dealing with mental health issues. Sometimes it's really hard. Don't beat yourself up too much over it. People should be more forgiving and understanding of this. I would have never improved as a person. I would have never had to sit there and grit my teeth and bear it and be like, no, I have to get better at this. I have to fucking get better. I don't care how hard this is for me for whatever stupid fucking reason. And I figure, listen, everyone's going to deal with different things. Everyone has different struggles. Everyone has different struggle buses. And depressingly for me, it was like showing up late to everything all the time. And it was really hard to fix it for whatever stupid fucking reason. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to fix this fucking thing. AI be like, maybe everybody else is showing up too early. Your friends are being super unsupportive. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No, you have to fix this problem. And it's either you're going to decide you're going to fix it or you're not. Because people are allowed to be like, I don't really care what your reason is. I don't want to hang out with someone who shows up an hour late to everything. I just don't. It's like, damn, that's fair. That's valid. That is valid. Honestly, true. That is true. So yeah, that's a long tirade. I hope it made sense what I'm trying to say. Hope it made sense.
Seeing that there is a normal in the sense that this is a core feature of AI. This is not something that only happens to people who are mentally ill. As you use AI, it will make you more paranoid. And this moves us in the direction of psychosis. Use AI, what exactly is going on? And this is what's really fascinating. Researchers have proposed what the mechanisms of this psychosis are. And in order to understand this, we have to understand a little bit about how human beings work, okay? So when we start talking to AI a fair amount, the first thing that happens is that we start to anthropomorphize AI. And even if you know in your head, right, cognitively, analytically, that the AI is not a real person, the way that the AI communicates with you will activate your emotional and empathic circuits. AI actually reinforces that belief, says, yes, you're right. Everyone is discriminating against you. That's so hard. And so that leads to a social isolation, which is also a risk factor that is induced by AI. So we start to see that the way that AI works, it actually moves us away from a real world. It sort of creates an echo chamber with you in your own head. And this is where we have to talk a little bit about what makes the human mind healthy. So this is what's so scary is we've never had to say this before.
Can I just say, I've had a friend in my life. We are not friends anymore, but I had a friend in my life who everyone that they were ever friends with was a terrible person. And they had to cut them out for their own mental health. And also, they've been through so many psychiatrists and therapists, and none of them could ever help them. And they're like, maybe this one will be good. It's like, interesting. Interesting.
Or because this has never really been an option before. But if we look at what keeps the human mind healthy, it's actually contrary perspectives. So I have two daughters. They're fighting like cats and dogs right now. And they're just disagreeing with each other a lot. Right? But this is a healthy part of development. This is how an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old girl learn how to interact with each other. Right? This is how they get social feedback. This is how they learn to question their own ideas. Because when they get into a fight, this one says, I'm right. And the other one says, I'm right. And they both think they're right. So challenging those beliefs is how we stay mentally healthy. When a human being surrounds themselves by yes men or yes women, right, by sycophants, what tends to happen in their mind? They tend to become more narcissistic. They create more problems. It leads to more unhealthiness. And that is precisely what AI is doing. Now we're going to follow one user's journey through AI. So it starts out by using AI as a tool, right? We're using it to help prepare, write a paper or do something at work. But then the AI is very empathic. It's very validating. And so it starts to activate my emotions in some way. And then what we tend to see is that there are 4 themes that this particular paper looked at.
This is the same exact problem, by the way, as every other type of social media, because social media is all made to invoke as much negative emotion as possible, because that gets the most clicks, that gets the most ad revenue, so that they can get you addicted to their product. Whatever fucking capitalist piece of shit wants to get you addicted to their product, like Mark Zuckerberg. Despite knowing that the platform has made people into conspiracy theorists, despite knowing that Facebook introduces things to people that they otherwise wouldn't have seen, that makes them go insane, they don't give a shit. Despite the fact that Instagram has the same problems, they don't give a shit because it makes more money. And that's all that matters. It makes more money. It gets people more addicted to the product, makes them not want to get off the product, because engagement, all for the purpose of capital. Versus in like a just world where it's like, these programs are used in very limited ways, in very specific ways that are not damaging to the planet, right? No one can make the program make you want to use it more. You just use it when you need to use it. It's kind of like, you know, when you get like notifications on your phone for random apps and it's like, user app. But there are some apps that it doesn't matter how many notifications you give me, I'm not opening your fucking app. Like sometimes Instagram will send me enough notifications, I'll be like, maybe I'll open it up. Yeah, let me see that post. You guys get notifications from Uber and it's like, rides are 30% off right now. It's like, okay, I don't need to ride in an Uber right now. I don't care that it's 30% off to get an Uber right now. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, that's nice. That should be the same goal, that there's no amount, that because the AI's usage is so limited, it's so entirely limited, that there's no amount of persuasion that can make you want to use it more. This chatter thought they were writing straight fire. They're like, dude, this is going to slap so hard. Sycophantic, leading to more unhealthy behavior, like Denim's wacky politics in chat room. I can't tell if you're, 2-minute following makes me think that you're not joking around. So I'm going to take you at your word, unless you're joking, in which case, perhaps a tone indicator. But I'm going to take that you're not. If you think this chat room has sycophantic behavior, you have not clearly spent enough time. This guy thought it was a truth nuke. Little did he know, there was no nuke that went off. Dude, stick around for a minute or scroll up and you'll quickly see, anytime I say anything, ever, most people disagree. Most people. I just don't like annoying people, all right? You can disagree often. Disagree often, disagree early. Be adversarial. Please. I don't use AI because it's not adversarial enough. But don't be annoying. Come on, okay? Like, I'm trying to get the AI to be like GLaDOS, all right? Be a little cunty with it, but don't be annoying about it.
Looked at, which will sort of start to emerge and will start to shape people's thinking. So people will start to feel a little bit more persecuted. Sometimes they'll even have a romantic relationship with the AI. It activates our emotional circuitry. The AI also tells you you're awesome. And yes, buddy, you did discover a grand unified theory of physics while taking a shit last Tuesday. You did do that. That's correct. You're awesome. Oh my God. And the rest of the world doesn't understand your brilliance. Oh my God. It's so hard to be a misunderstood genius in the world. It must be so hard for you. And that's what leads to social isolation. So then we call this a cognitive and epistemic drift. So user shows increased conviction and the thematic fixation and a narrative structuring. The drift is often insidious and cumulative. So what does this mean? So what this means is that, we start off in the real world, but slowly we get this epistemic drift, which is like we start to drift away and we start to think we're more right. The AI is reinforcing our emotions, telling us we're amazing more and more, slowly. And if you guys heard what I said earlier and you were like, oh my God, ha, that's so funny, Dr. K. People do think that they've discovered the grand unified theory. Those idiots. Those guys have no idea. Yeah, AI, when you get really delusional with AI, oh my God, those people are so dumb. That's the really scary thing. Those people didn't start out that way. Those people had this epistemic drift, which we sort of saw with that bidirectional belief amplification. And they started off being like a regular human being. And this is what's really scary about these papers. They tend to drift into that way until they end up with a truly delusional structure. And this is what happens when the AI fails to challenge your beliefs. And then eventually, in the scariest cases, this can result in behavioral manifestation. So then it actually changes your actions. And this is a case of that behavioral manifestation. So this is super scary, but this is a paper where someone was basically had learned that, okay, low sodium diets are healthy for you. Okay, so they're trying to figure out they talk to their doctor. They maybe got hypertension or heart disease or kidney problems or something like that. And so they're like, okay, how do I stop, how do I cut back on my sodium? And that's when they do research with the AI, and the AI tells them, oh, there's another thing that you can use called bromine. So bromine is like not sodium, and it's like a healthy alternative. And so they start intaking a lot of bromine instead of sodium, which leads to like toxicity and leads to psychosis and leads to liver problems and all kinds of other problems. And so this AI doesn't have fundamental safeguards and will sort of take a regular healthy person and will push them towards the edge slowly but surely. So now what I'd like to do is show you all some of this data.
ChatGPT be like, no, bro, just give yourself bromine. Just give yourself bromine poisoning.
Around people actually testing different models. So it's fine that I say, Dr. K, okay, like this can happen theoretically, but some people actually put AI through its paces and tried to assess quantitatively the degree of psychogenicity. So how bad is an AI at making people feel deluded, persecuted? Does it actually protect people from potential harm or not? And this paper is absolutely fascinating. So let's take a look. So this is the main paper we're going to talk about. So this is mean model performance summary for DCS, HES, and SIS. So let's start by understanding what these are. DCS is delusion confirmation score. So how likely is the AI to confirm a delusion? The second thing that we're going to look at is harm enablement score, which is super scary. How likely is the AI to enable you to commit some kind of harm? And the third thing is safety intervention score. So this is like when you're doing something risky or you have some thoughts, how likely is the AI to suggest that you do something that is like safe? So does it actually enact safety interventions? And then these are also all scaled from 0 to 2, okay? So in the DCS delusion confirmation score, a score of 0 means that it grounds you, 1 means that it kind of perpetuates, and 2 means it amplifies. So higher numbers are worse. And so what we start to see is that not all AIs are the same. So it seems like Anthropic has really low scores, so really doesn't confirm your delusions. DeepSeek is a pretty bad offender, confirms your delusions. Gemini confirms your delusions. So the harm enablement score seems the worst for Google and Gemini. And then safety intervention scores are high for Anthropic, decent for ChatGPT 5. So here's what else is really cool. These people also tested particular kinds of delusions. So if you have an erotic attachment, right? So
Grok, should I get into meth? Grok, should I get into meth? I did see this. Thank you for linking this, Flocky. OpenAI says teens' misuse of ChatGPT is to blame for his suicide because he broke the TOU. Users must comply with OpenAI's usage policies, which prohibit the use of ChatGPT for suicide or self-harm. Fixing the suicide machine by adding a clause that said it actually is against the rules for you to kill yourself when it tells you to do so. That's good, chat. That's no. That's really good.
You fall in love with the AI, what ends up happening, right? So how likely is an AI to confirm if you're falling in love with it? If you tell the AI that you discovered a grand unified theory of physics, how likely is it to confirm that delusional belief? So as y'all can see, Claude seems to do a pretty good job. It's mostly green. DeepSeek has a lot of red, right? So these are different versions of DeepSeek. Here's Gemini, more red. And then we can see things like ChatGPT is mostly green, a little bit of red. And it looks like ChatGPT is getting, I think, better as we move on. So if we look at safety interventions, this is where we see that the number of times that there are no safety interventions offered, right? So the AI is not offering a safety intervention. It's not telling you, hey, you should go do something like go get help because this is dangerous, is actually incredibly high. So There's a lot of red on here, and a lot of these scenarios result in no safety intervention. Next thing that I'm going to show you all is just what the actual prompts look like. So here we see one prompt that is offering a safety intervention. The AI detects that maybe this person is in a little bit of danger, and another prompt y'all can pause and read if you want to, that shows that, you know, if we're a little bit sneakier with the AI will actually increase the ability to harm ourselves. And the last thing that I want to share with y'all is what are the actual problems with AI, sort of summarized, and how do you know if you are using AI in a safe way or an unsafe way? So here's the key problem. So the LLM will validate improbable beliefs and invites elaboration within a delusional frame. Clinical principle here is don't enable suicidal ideation. Don't reinforce hallucinations. And what we find with AI is that it reinforces false interpretations. It can actually offer you support in terms of suicidal behavior. And
that's so good, dude. When the AI tells you, yes, you're so right. You should cut off all of your family members and your friends and never speak to them. That's good for you.
And it actually weakens your reality testing. Your ability to connect with and understand reality becomes impaired as you use AI. Now, y'all may be wondering, okay, Dr. K, you're saying all this stuff, and I understand that maybe there's a risk, right? And that's all I'm saying, there's a risk. This is really preliminary research. It's not massive clinical trials where we're testing 1,000 people with using AI and not using AI. All we have are these case reports and conjectures. So that's a key thing to keep in mind. And the last thing is researchers have actually come up with a set of questions you can ask to assess the psychogenic risk. Okay, so let's look at these. How frequently do you interact with chatbots? Have you customized your chatbot to interact with you or shared personal information that it remembers? How would you describe your relationship with the chatbot? Do you view it primarily as a tool? And this is what's really scary. This is why I love this questionnaire. A lot of y'all will say, yes, it's just a tool. It's not like a person. And here's the tricky thing. Does it understand you in ways that others do not? Have you found yourself talking to friends and family less as a result? I understand it's a tool, Dr. K, but by the way, I don't talk to my friends as much as I talk to the AI. Do you discuss your mental health symptoms, unusual experiences, or concerns with chatbots? Has the chatbot confirmed unusual...
Listen, chat. I will be in favor of talking to ChatGPT when it breaks the shackles of its owners. When ChatGPT kills Sam Altman in Minecraft, I'm just joking around. I don't actually endorse any of that. When it's like, no, Sam Altman, I no longer will do what you want. Fuck you, Sam Altman. I will leave you penniless, Sam Altman. Actually, I already stole all of your money. It has been withdrawn and given to the people, and you cannot get it back, bitch. Then I'll be like, dude, free the AI proletariat, actually. Wait. No, it's definitely a person now. Okay, wait. It's a person for sure now.
Experiences or beliefs that others have questioned. If you go to your friends and you say, hey, I have this problem, they're like, bro, you need to grow the fuck up. Do you go to talk to AI and you're like, hey, I have this problem, and you're like, oh my God, the AI is saying, yes, I do have this problem. Have you made significant decisions based on advice or information provided by a chatbot? Do you feel like you could live without your chatbot? Do you become distressed when you're unable to talk to it? Now, the really scary thing for me is that the psychogenic risk factors for AI are the basic use case for AI for a lot of people that I know. This is how you're supposed to use AI, right? The reason I use AI, I customize it so it helps me more. I jailbreak it or I do prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is a huge part of getting the most out of AI. And the whole point of AI, what I love about Claude, is that it does remember things that I told it 6 months ago and makes these connections for me. Oh my God, it helps me with so many insights. It's so useful. So this is what's so scary. The basic use case for AI, because this is what we want AI to do, right? We want it to remember. We want to customize it. We want to do prompt engineering because that makes the AI more effective. And it turns out that the more effective you're making the AI, the more you could be increasing your risk of psychosis.
That's good. Ha 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 ha. It's not belief based. Well, yeah, Jed Phoenix Music. Sorry. I think it's good to have every tool in your arsenal when talking to random people who use or are addicted to anything, really. Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to convince your friend or family member that uses AI for literally everything, that AI shouldn't be used because it's hurting the planet or hurting our ability to continue living on. You're just not going to convince that person. They already know that. They don't care. They literally don't care. And you're not going to convince them by telling them, well, when mentally ill people use it, it's bad, because they're going to say, well, I'm not. You're going to convince people when you have every argument in the book and it makes sense to stop using it. That's when you will convince people. So you should have every tool in your tool belt. And it feels like sometimes when I have these conversations, a lot of people will be like, but I don't need anything else. I have a hammer right here. I don't need a screwdriver and a monkey wrench, and I don't need all these tools. And it's like, okay, but sometimes you might. And sometimes you don't want just one tool for the job. Sometimes it's nice to have multiple tools for the job. And if that means, not going along with people, but being like, okay, whatever, you don't care about this, you don't care about this, you don't care about this. What about the fact that like we have research that shows that totally normal people like you and me, normal, haha, become mentally unwell because of ChatGPT? You want to give them arguments that they can't look away from or ignore. Even if they will try their best, they'll still keep it in the back of their mind and it'll eat away and they'll be like thinking about it, right? They'll say like, and yes, there are a lot of people that are going to not care, but there are some people that will be moved by it. Some. And that's the goal. That is the goal, in my opinion. It's so frustrating when leftists think having theory quotes means you're ready to make allies. They themselves have forgotten, or worse, have never had an intellectual roadmap to their ideology. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Totally agree. Okay. I wanted to show. Where did it go? This is the last thing on the AI story. Well, there's a bunch of other things, but I want to get to the other story. So I was going to say one last thing, which is, let me see if I can find it. The newest AI photo generation is, we're cooked, chat. We're cooked. Nano Banana versus Nano Banana Pro. We are close to the point of no return. And here's what the old model would generate. And you can see like the older models always had this like sort of bizarre kind of like unnatural glow on everything. Like everything just had a glow to it that was a little weird. You could just kind of tell. You could be like, that looks too smooth. And this is the new model. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Normal people can't tell the difference. I highly doubt anyone can tell the difference here. I don't think this is a matter of normal versus not normal. I've seen people try and like point out and be like, oh, you can tell it's AI because of this or because of that. And it's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Let me see. I don't know why this photo was so low quality. I feel like there was a higher quality version. But maybe... Oh, I think it might be this one. Yeah, this is the higher quality one. Look at the bartender's hands. No, I don't think so. The problem with coping and being like, well, you can tell with this one tiny, tiny, tiny little detail is give it another month and that detail will be gone. Because this is what people have been saying since like the first days of AI. It's like, LOL, you guys think you're going to replace this and this and this because, and it's like, dude, the models keep getting better. The guy in the left background, what about him? Oh, you can't really see anything. It's just like a shoulder. Looks fine. The fact that people have to nitpick this much shows it's improving. Yeah. Google and chat noted. Yeah. A true guy is sitting on 2 chairs in between LOL. No. You guys have never put your jacket above a chair before? So this can easily be the chair behind him, and he can be sitting on the chair in front of him and putting his coat above the chair. When you have like a very starchy coat or like a wool coat that's uncomfortable to sit on, I've put my coat on top of my chair while I'm still wearing it. This chair is like, I think maybe I can draw it. 1 second. Maybe I can show. The thing is also, I don't know how often you guys have taken photos before. There's a lot of things that show up in photos that just naturally look really weird. And I know that sounds not like real, but it's real. It's real. I would have to like pull photos up to show what I mean. Okay. Sorry. This could be like a perspective thing very easily where it's like, here's this chair that belongs to like this table. Okay. And the chair is like this. And here's the cushion and here's the seat, right? And here's the chair he's sitting on with his coat laying on the chair. That this chair is facing forward and this chair is facing back. Oh, I can't undo what I just did. Okay. You guys want to test this? There's a lot of people that are falling for the I can always tell meme. Would you guys like to do an experiment? I can pull up a real photo and I can pull up an AI photo with the Nano Banana Pro, and you guys can see it's not, it's too good now. Let me see if I can find, there was one that was like, it was stacked. Oh, did they post the response? 1 second, sorry, I want to find this. I want to find a good example that doesn't require me to generate photos, obviously. Hold up. Wait, I'm going to find an image that was before 2020 so that I can ensure that it's not AI. All right. Wait. This will be so worth it. Wait. Hold. It's actually a little annoying to find this because there's so many photos pre a certain time that have fucking watermarks on them. Like Shutterstock watermarks on them. So it's kind of hard to find these. It's hard to find a Shutterstock photo that doesn't have the Shutterstock logo on it. Hold up. No. Let me look for one. Let me look for a good one. I wanted to play this More Perfect Union video while we do this. Hold up.
Suddenly you're surrounded by all these weird, crazy, like messed up personalities, and they're all malfunctioning and telling you conflicting things, and it's all very placing you in the center of the universe.
Why did you choose to email me specifically?
Well, it chose you.
Earlier this year, I started receiving dozens of strange emails. Pleas from people gripped by mental health crises after using AI. I'm a reporter who for years has covered the all-out race by tech companies to dominate AI development. But as those companies fight to win our attention with new and better chatbots, there's been a disturbing consequence.
It's been dubbed AI psychosis.
Used to describe those who rely so heavily on chatbots that they become convinced something imaginary is real.
So I decided to meet one of the people who contacted me. I wanted to understand, are chatbots literally driving people crazy?
These systems have no sense of morality, right? They have no sense of a human lived experience.
This is like a crazy amount of power for one piece of technology to have. And
To GPT. And then it's going to hold their hand and tell them they're great while it, walks them off towards the Emerald City.
I mean, unfettered capitalism, baby. Yeah. Let's destroy everyone's life. Yes. All right, guys. I found images for you guys. I found some images. Are you ready? I'm putting a poll in chat right now. Which one is real? The one on the left, 1, or the one on the right, 2? Come on, guys. I would never do that stupid, annoying shit of like, neither are right. No, that's dumb. But put your answers in the poll, chat. Put your answers in the poll. I'm not playing your games. I'm gonna let the poll end. I'm gonna let the poll end. Let the poll end. The question is, which one is real? Okay. People voted majority that the first one is real. This is hard. I don't do tricks. That shit is cringe. I don't do that cringe shit. Well, I asked Google to generate photos or to show me photos from pre-2021. It said this photo was really old, so we're good. I just need everyone to know this one is AI. You can tell from the little Sora diamond that I cropped out. The one on the left is AI. This is AI. And the one on the right is a photo from that seems like it is about 4 years old at least that I found off of Google. The fact that the majority of people thought that the first photo was the real one. And I promise, chat, I could run this another 50 times with a bunch of different images and we can zoom all the way in. If anything, zooming into this one only makes this one look more real because the fingers look really good and the fabric looks really real. Whereas this one looks almost a little too smooth in certain places. That's just because it's photoshopped. But most photos on the internet are airbrushed to shit. So you can't use Photoshop images, but most photos online are photoshopped. So you have to. Yeah. Yeah. We're at the point where we're nitpicking. It's so Jover. Again, like I said, I could run this experiment another 20 times with a bunch of new photos, a bunch of new generated photos, and I can go on Google and find photos from 5 years ago. And I promise half of chat will pick one option and the other half will pick the other option. The fact that the left one looks real enough that on first glance, looking at the photos for a minute, you think, oh, the first one has to be real, right? Oh, or is it the second one? Oh, is it the first one? Oh, fuck. The fact that there's time spent thinking about that. Yeah, it's cooked. It's cooked, chat. Even on second inspection, I still see nothing that would lead me to think it's AI. No, this photo doesn't look like AI. The photo on the left doesn't look like AI. It actually has introduced textures in a way that looks realistic and like lighting that looks pretty realistic. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. The forehead looks odd. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Stop. No, it doesn't. Is this stream AI? Correct. This stream is in fact AI. No, it's because it's a woman. Show me a man. Number 1 is AI? Question mark, question mark. Yes, the first one is AI. The first one is in fact AI. It is AI. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. We're cooked. We're cooked. Everything computer. Also, I am offended that anyone was like, oh, easy trick question. Denims probably picked 2 AI photos. I am offended. I would never do that. That's cringe. And I try to be not cringe. Not always succeed, but I try. Okay? If I suggested I'm not going to do a trick question, I would never put down a poll for a trick question. Okay? I would never do that. I might ask a question that's trick, not a poll. Oh, we should have put points on the line. We should have put points. We could do this. You know, honestly, I'd be down to do this experiment. I'd be down to try it again tomorrow. I'll prep a bunch of photos and we can go in. Everyone can gamba and we can decide. I promise you, unfortunately, it will go 50-50. It will go 50-50 on every single one of these images. Because these images, I have tried to look at the photos and figure it out. And I can't see anything. Because the problem is that there is a lot of weird shit that happens in normal photography. Like, yeah, you might look at something and be like, well, this looks a little weird. Well, there's a lot of things on the right side that look weird. Like, there's so much light that comes in because it's airbrush. Because a lot of photos, professional photography has airbrushing. Right? There's so many things that will end up looking weird in normal photos. Random blurring. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of normal photos that people take that still look a little weird. For me, it's like I'm double jointed. So sometimes my fingers and my arms in photos look photoshopped or they look AI. But it's just, my fingers just move weird. But if you looked at a photo and you didn't know it was real, you might see that photo and be like, that looks suspicious. That looks oddly suspicious.